Welcome to the Vineet Loya Show. The goal of this podcast is to share the knowledge and wisdom I accumulated from various sources, such as listening to amazing podcasts, or watching creative videos, TV shows, and movies, or reading insightful books, or having meaningful conversation with people in real life. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did while creating it.
The one thing which every single person hates in this world, even the godmen, especially the godmen, is taxes. I mean, that's the whole reason why godmen establishes religious places so that they can avoid all the taxes from the money they rob out of people. But that being aside, the taxes itself is painful. I get that. I recently paid my taxes and I did not like the process at all. I did not like the process not just because it's complex, but also I'm very frustrated where my tax money is going. I mean, I'm being a good resident. I'm not a citizen of the United States. So, as a resident, I've been paying my fair share of taxes. In fact, I'm paying taxes for Social Security, which I'll never see unless I become a citizen, which seems pretty unlikely. But again, coming back to the taxes, this is the one policy or one thing which every one of the people hate because government essentially take away the money which you earned and spend wherever they want to without any checks and balances. I know the government technically is elected by the people and those elected officials are supposed to manage where the tax money is going, but let's be real, they don't do that. There is so much disagreement between the elected officials that people in charge, whoever have the control of the government, take away all the money and misuses it wherever they want to, even for the golf or traveling to different countries or lavishly spending on things which they don't need or shouldn't need. But that's where I am frustrated because when every single person is contributing to the taxes, we have a right to see where our tax money is going. And personally, I'm all in for a lot of these social policies. I think the tax money should be coming back to the society because, in all sense, taxes is nothing but the debt I am paying to the society for being a peaceful society, for not killing me, for not, robbing me. Even though there are situations like those, but for the larger extent, the society works peacefully because of the taxes we pay. Imagine how the world would look like if we don't have roads, if we don't have postal service, if we don't have, say, government hospitals in the countries where they do have government hospitals. Imagine the world and how the world would have shaped into, because without a lot of the basic amenities, people will be prone to crimes. And without any government regulations, for an example, there would be cons everywhere because the people who have a good marketing would be marketing their products which may not even work or which completely delude people altogether. Regardless, there is a reason for a government to be operating because I feel that governments are the gatekeepers and they play a very vital role to keep the society functioning. Most of the governments are misusing the resources from the society, and taxes being one of them. For an instance, in the most recent history, the United States governments have been spending most of the tax money into military, whereas there is no invasions within the United States. Yes, I know that there was a terrorist attack, but the military industrial complex goes prior to that. And there is a reason for that, because now the United States government sell the arms to a lot of other countries. So it's a business rather than a necessity for the citizens and residents, because that's what the tax money is essentially, right? I mean, I personally like to see my tax money going into education, going into innovation, and going into life security as well. And that life security meaning having a law and order, which also means having a trained professional police and to protect the citizens within cities, and trained professional military to protect the country from invasions. But looking at the infrastructure of the United States in the current moment, there are no trained professional cops. I mean, there are some good apples and mostly cops which just cover up random crimes, or, in fact, commit crimes. But I don't know all the details, so I don't want to dive into that. But the military, the United States military at least, is pretty competent, even though there have been a lot of failed wars. And there's few wars which are still ongoing on paper. And all the past governments and even the present government is still pushing to keep the US military in the foreign soil. And what all of this for? Just to sell arms. So that's one side of the area where my tax money is going. But domestically too, my tax money is going towards rewarding the corporates, because in a way the philosophy, the failed philosophy rather, of the current government and the past few governments has been trickle down economy, which means just give chunk of money to the biggest corporations, and hopefully that money will eventually trickle down. Newsflash, it didn't work before, it won't work now, it will probably never work, and it will become more painful in the coming future. Because of automation, a lot of people will be out of work, and it would be chaos. And on top of that, government not operating any social programs make it all the worse. And in all honesty, I don't believe that the government can operate a good program. I mean, I lived in India, so I know how incompetent a government operated program could be. But that being said, that's the area of improvement. I personally think that government should work with NGOs when it comes to a lot of these social issues. Like, instead of rewarding companies which bulk produce a produce, why not give that money to farmers which can produce healthy organic food? Instead of rewarding the banks with ton of money, why not hand that money to a credit unions? In a way, I mean, technically the government shouldn't even be interfering in all of this, but regardless of all of that, I feel that the government can work with NGOs for a lot of social causes, which will in fact make people like me volunteer in those NGOs and contribute, not just monetarily, but also my time and energy. So I'll be more integrated with this society rather than just pay my taxes and then I get to complain. In a way, I'm buying the right to complain by paying taxes. See, I'm not saying that I don't want to pay taxes, even though that's what I've been ranting about. But what I mean is that I would rather happily pay for some of the things which help the community, like healthcare for everyone, which helps everyone, like universal basic income, which helps everyone, like having a good, integrated, empathetic way to help out the poor and needy. And this will help the society altogether, like having a good education system where people can go and train themselves in the areas they want to work or devote their life to, rather. And that's a good cause. And I'm all in for those programs, even though I completely agree with people who say that government shouldn't be in all of these businesses, because they shouldn't be. It's not a business, it's not a for-profit industry, and shouldn't be. In fact, the government should be working with the NGOs who are in these sections because they don't want to profit out of these social causes. I want to feel happy when I pay my taxes. And I guess the people who sort of are happy when they pay taxes are the people who know the loopholes of the tax system. And if you think about it, the people who uses those loopholes are the one who created those by lobbying and buying politicians to put in the loopholes in all the bills. So this is a big scam. It is. Hopefully, in the future, we have a system which benefit everyone, or at the very least, which doesn't thrive on screwing up the most vulnerable people.
Thanks for listening. I hope you find our one sided conversation valuable. Kindly share it with people in your life. I would love to hear back from you. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Vineet Loya. Also check out my website vineetloya.com. Enjoy rest of your day and stay peaceful.